son, and Anthony Francis plays for Flight.
Well, they're certainly bringing the noise. We'll see if McKendree can bring the ball as we are underway here between Lewis and McKendree.
You got them behind our bench, and you got about 3/4 of the football team to our right here, Josh.
Flyers' first possession as they dump this one into Ryan Renfro. He'll pass this one back out. 3-point shot. It's good from the jump by Devin Vanderheit, the senior from Washington, Illinois, a near 44% shooter from downtown, averaging 11 points per game. Breaks the seal on the very first possession for Lewis. Bearcats now through their leading scorer in Stein. Dumps this one inside. Franklin open for a millisecond before he is closed down from behind by Stroud, who picks up the block. But it will still be Bearcat basketball. Good look, though. Stein dumping that one into Franklin, but he was closed down in a hurry. Now this is Metesky, close to the basket, trying to rise up through contact, unable to finish. Rebound collected that time by Sales. Here is Anthony Sales Jr. Vanderheit now gets this one quickly to Warden. Behind the back pass, Vanderheit feeling it already. This time is short. Rebound collected, though, by Warden. He does well to pitch it all the way back out. Stroud now working up against Niesman. That's going to be a fun matchup here tonight. Stroud trying to bully him, and he gets the roll at the last minute. Rob Stroud, the senior, leading the team with 15.2 points per game on 52.2% shooting. He is 8th in the GLVC in field goal percentage. Niesman now. After the Flyers have hit on a couple possessions. The three-point shot off to the right by Woods. Shooting nearly 45% from downtown, but missed the mark by a wide margin there in his first attempt. Now he's trying to do as well against Stroud, and he's going to be guilty of the foul as Stroud once again trying to spin and utilize his strength to pick up a basket. It was very close to being a jump ball, but in the end, that'll be the first foul against Woods. Stroud last year averaged only 8.7 points per game, so he's nearly doubled it here in his senior season. Here he is with the basketball. Metesky now will do his best to slow him down. Stroud goes for the mid-range shot. It's good. Stroud also has a team-high 7.1 rebounds per game. He leads the team now with 20 blocks on the season. He's got 4 double-doubles, so suffice to say he is a prime-time player for this Lewis team. Stein now. He's the same for McKendree and nearly gets that one to go as he is fouled, and he is headed to the line for 2 free throws after he was bumped on the shot attempt. It's going to go against Warden for his first foul. Kevin Stein, the junior from Chester, New York, team-high 15.4 points per game on 45.7% shooting, averaging 3.9 rebounds per game. He's also averaging 4 assists per game, as he's a team-high 83 coming into tonight, and he's second on the team with 20 steals. Does it all for this Bearcat team as he knocks down the first free throw. And he had at least 13 points and 5 assists in the last 2 games on the road versus Umsel and Illinois Springfield. So he's scoring, and he's also setting up teammates to score as well. And he gets the shooter's roll off the front of the rim there for the second free throw. Now from the jump, the Bearcats going to deploy a little bit of full court pressure. Lewis, though, break it quickly. And now here's Renfro. Stopped on the low block by Franklin for the immediate part, but then eventually the shot off the back of the iron and rebound collected there by Stein.
Boy, that's going to be a fun matchup down low.
I was going to say, it will take a village to do their part against Ryan Renfro, who has been missing in action for the last couple of games as that shot just a little bit too strong. Rebound collected by Sales. He played only 4 minutes versus Lincoln. And suffice to say, may have picked up an injury in that game. Didn't play in the next one. Didn't play versus Lincoln after he only played 4 minutes versus Umsel. So he is back in the lineup here tonight from the start. As he watches on as Vanderheit drives, the reverse layup, it's good. High degree of difficulty as Vanderheit is able to get that one to go.
Well, and I'm going to surprise looking at Renfro. He's got a brace on his left ankle.
And again, you mentioned Renfro as being someone to watch out for because he posted career highs of 22 points and 16 rebounds in the last meeting, but that time could not catch up to Metesky on that drive as he picks up his first basket. So his mobility will be something to watch, but suffice to say, standing at 6'7", he will be a load to handle regardless. Stroud now. Got a partial screen from Renfro, but he'll pass it off now. Quick cut to the basket. Shot clock's down to 8. Warden comes to collect. Woods trying to stick with them. Warden gets in the lane, though, and puts up the floater as he was just one step ahead of Woods the rest of the way as he gets that shot to go. So unlike in the women's game, the Lewis Flyers have come out firing on all cylinders offensively as they are now shooting 5 for 7 from the field. Stein now gets the screen from Franklin as Sale switches onto him. Dump inside. I don't know. He found Mateski looking for some contact there on the low block, but does not get the call, and Lewis come away with another defensive stop. So on the opposite end of the spectrum, McKendree now shooting 1 for 6 from the field. Renfro now heads up against Franklin. Franklin with them on the first couple of moves. Renfro now falling away, and it's a travel force that time by Franklin. What a job there by the redshirt junior to get the turnover there. Much needed there by the Bearcats. We find themselves down 7 early on versus Lewis. We've hit our first media timeout. We'll be right back here after this break. As far as things are concerned, you're looking at what is 5 different Lewis players who average at least 10 points. So as far as the weapons that Lewis have at their disposal, what McKendree are going to have to do defensively here tonight, it's quite the challenge when you've got that many offensive players who can score. And it's an early substitution here for a couple of substitutions now for the Bearcats. As one of them here is Hayden Meeks coming off of that career-high 20 points. Shot clock's at 8. Meets in the lane, just a little bit off to the right there with that push shot.
Yeah, but when you bring in Meeks and Whitaker both standing at 6'7", I mean, there's a couple offensive threats to get you back in this game.
As far as things are concerned, it doesn't look like any subs on the part of the Flyers. They're rolling with their starting 5. It's Whitaker all over Stroud there. Now Warden trying to shake Woods. Dumps this one inside. Beautiful pass and a quick finish there by Renfro. Gets the job done once again for Lewis.
That was kind of like a half alley-oop, half high pass. I really don't know.
Whatever it was, Warden threw it and Renfro knew about it. And it worked to perfection that time. We're now going to get a foul against Warden. I believe that's his second. So we'll see how the Flyers play this one as Woods is going to check out for freshman number 42, Rennie Harris from O'Fallon, Illinois. And it looks as though the Flyers are finally going to head to their bench here, and they're going to bring in number 3, Jalen Gibson, the senior from Evanston, Illinois. A transfer from Division I Eastern Illinois, where he averaged 2.9 points per game and 2.3 rebounds per game with 40 assists last season. Played in 26 games. And he immediately hits the floor as Stein pretty much went right through him. Now Stein with the basketball. Can't span around him, though. Back outside. Harris now with the shot clock at 8. He's cut off by Stroud. Stein now rises up the three-point shot. Nothing but net there from Kevin Stein. Again, McKendree have been on quite the tear shooting from three-point range. They're 4th in the conference, shooting 37.5%, and they're tied for second, averaging 9.4 makes from downtown per game.
Well, that was a difficult shot by Stein with a hand in his face as well.
Now inside, the hook shot there, just off the mark that time from Renfro. And the big man slaps his hands together in frustration off of a shot that he thought he should have hit. And now Gibson was trying to cut off Niesman at half court, but he'll be guilty of the foul. And we're going to get another substitution now for Lewis, and it's going to be Jem Kursimen, the grad student from Bursa, Turkey, who averages 4.4 points per game.
Well, and with that foul, I've had a hard time finding someone that can keep up with Niesman. I mean, he is one of the quicker guys in the league with the ball in his hand.
And that's just on offense. How about his defense? Really feels as though that's his calling card, especially as he gets in the lane once again. Somehow squirted that ball back out to Whitaker. Shot clock down to 8. Whitaker now, the spin rain mid-range jumper gets that one to go. Another high degree of difficulty shot. But for Dustin Whitaker, they've all been hitting the bottom of the net as he's shooting 47% from the field and 54% from downtown. I was reading the game notes pregame. As far as the games that he's participated in, I think he is, of 10 of the 16 games, he has shot 40% or better from three-point range as he gets a rebound there. Does a lot more than just shooting for this McKendree team.
Well, and I'll back it up to summer when Coach Suggs and company were recruiting him. I mean, he was one of the high-level guys that they wanted Division I transfer, grad transfer, has that experience, and it, honestly, is a leader in the locker room.
And right on cue there, passed up what would have been a contested three for a look at the rim, and he's able to draw the foul on the low block. As that will go against Kursiman, and it'll be his first foul. As you mentioned, Whitaker, the Division I transfer from Purdue Fort Wayne, scored 52 points, grabbed 22 rebounds in 26 games played while there. And he has been a huge asset to this team. There was a point in time where, again, missing a little bit of time, as has a lot of these guys. Speaking of, Justin King now is going to sub in for McKendree. But at the beginning of the season, when everybody was involved for the Bearcats, you really start to see what this team could look like when everybody has filled in their roles and whatnot. And you've started to see it, of course, over the course of this last road stretch, just how much these guys bring to the table off the bench as Whitaker knocks down the free throws.
Well, and this is Justin King's second stint in the GLVC. When you get recruited out of high school as a freshman by Bob Sundervold at UMSL, you can play a little basketball.
Vanderheit is short on the three-pointer, and it's a 7-0 run right now for the Bearcats. As we approach our next media timeout, wonder if they somehow tie this one up or take the lead before then. Back outside to Harris. Meeks, of course, he's been on fire from three-point range as well, but he'll pass this one off to Stein. Now in the corner, it's King. Stroud trying to stick with him. Shot clock under 10. Stein now. He's already hit one shot deep in the shot clock. Can he do so again? Couple dribbles. The mid-range shot. That one off to the right. Rebound collected that time by Gibson. Vanderheit now. He's had most of the looks early on. Stroud now trying to send this one inside. Kursiman able to compose himself. He was very much on the edge of traveling there, but the big man eventually gets the job done.
Well, I think Meeks may have gotten lucky not to get a foul called there on him.
Eventually leads to the basket. Stein now with a shake and bake move. Harris does the same. Beautiful pass outside. Stein left open for three. Yes, sir. Can't allow Kevin Stein to get hot and get open. A 36% shooter from downtown is able to hit on his first three-pointer of the game. Or excuse me, his second three-pointer of the game. He's 2 for 2 from downtown. 1-point game. Bearcats offense has woken up here over the last few minutes. Now inside, Kursiman gets loose, and that's an easy two for the big man who stands in at 6'7". Looks as though they're calling that first Stein basket a two, so it's just his first three-point attempt, but still has got the 5 points here so far. Meeks now with Kursiman on him. Shot clock down to 10, back outside. Stein now, another three-point shot. That one too strong. It surprised Whitaker underneath the basket, but somehow it came off of a Lewis player last and out. Shot clock will be at 6, 10:34 left to go here in the first half. As Lewis have themselves a three-point lead, we're going to step away for just a brief moment, but we'll be back here short. King now the one inbounding the ball for McKendree. And he's running up against the clock, and it will be a 5-second call. Very rare, obviously, to see in basketball, but Lewis cut off all the angles there on that attempted inbounds play by the Bearcats, and they turn it over. This is a Flyers team that comes into this one allowing 72.8 points per game. As Warden now. You can see Meeks right now is battling inside versus Kursiman. As on the drive, Metesky, I believe, is going to get hit with the foul as Warden was able to force the issue there. And for Metesky, that will be his first foul, team's second. And that will send Paxton Warden to the line, the one-time University of Illinois basketball player, if I do recall. The junior from Glen Ellen, Illinois this season, averaging 14 points per game, which is double his average from last year. He's shooting 48% from the field, and more importantly here for this particular instance, 82% from the line. And interestingly enough, earlier this year, he followed his only double-double with a career high of 26 points as he knocks down the first free throw when he went 5 for 10 from the three last time versus McKendree. So we saw that a little bit in the women's game. A lot of players having career highs for Lewis against McKendree this season. As Warden misses on the second free throw.
I was about to say, I don't know how he's concentrating. There's a lot of noise between the football players, and you got young kids making who knows what noises.
I was going to say, the McKendree crowd is in for what is going to be a tough night here tonight as far as forcing those misses. As King now lines up the three-point shot. That one in and out. Lewis is first in the conference, and they're 8th in Division II, shooting 80.7% from the line as a team. So every miss is going to be a huge win as Vanderheit just misses out on an and one, so he will head to the line for 2 free throws. So the less the Flyers are at the line, the better if you are McKendree, as that was a rare miss that time by Warden. And it's going to be Vanderheit now at the line, who is a near 82%. No, it looks like that was called on the floor, so crisis averted if you are McKendree there. As Woods and Niesman back out there with Whitaker, Metesky, and Franklin. Warden now. I did see the officials talking to Kerseman and Franklin a little bit ago on those free throws as those two continue to battle inside. And now Warden able to spin on Woods, gets to the rim, too strong. Franklin flies in for a really tough rebound. Still just a 4-point game, under 10 minutes left to go here in the first half. A little bit of a zone look now, a 2-3 of sorts by the Flyers. Woods now drives inside, tried to force the pass in down low to Franklin, but too many arms wearing red in the way. And now the way up the court, Stroud, the late layoff, and they're going to get him a body foul that will go against McKendree. And I think the only problem there for Whitaker is maybe he was in the restricted area. I'm not entirely sure. As, again, it will be called on the floor. That is Whitaker's first foul. Both teams now have 4 so far in this first half.
That's one of those 50-50 calls.
And obviously don't have that over-the-head angle as far as where Whitaker was lined up. Lewis trying to make something of it as Vanderheit loses the handle, still maintains possession. Gibson now. Off the screen from Kerseman, has to dish it up. Vanderheit now off to the right. Kerseman, though, wins, but he did so illegally, the rebound, and he will be whistled for the foul. So that will be the second foul against Kerseman. So interesting to see Kerseman and Warden each have 2 fouls. And those are 2 important players for Lewis. Franklin now catches it at the high post. McKendree going to have to get a little bit creative to break down this zone look. Woods now, he'll fire a long-range 3. Too strong off the back iron. And rebound there, collected that time by Lewis. Gibson now kicks this one over to Sales, who's back in. Out there along with Vanderheit, Warden, and Kerseman. Stein and Metesky trying to keep the ball over here close to the out-of-bounds line. As Vanderheit now, with very little room, fires 3-point shot. That one's off to the left. So McKendree starting to win a little bit more on these outside shots from the Flyers.
Well, we have so many students over here, we can't see the near line over there.
Woods now, he'll fire. Nothing but net there from Chavez Woods. Could see that one that time as he is able to get the 3-pointer from the corner to go. And McKendree now back within 1. Woods now 1 for 3 from downtown as he finally sees one go into the net. Vanderheit now off the blow by, the floater in the lane, short rebound there. It's Franklin. Now 4 different McKendree players with 2 rebounds already in this game. And we're going the other way as Franklin is judged to have stuck out a leg there. And he will pick up the foul, and that'll be his first. Our under 8 media timeout has arrived, and it's been a good one so far tonight. Yeah, as far as attempts are concerned, it's been a big part of the game this season, and everybody gets involved in that respect. But right now they're on the defensive end as Warden gets this one over to Sales. Out there with Gibson, Stroud, Renfro back in, along with Warden. Shot clock down to 10. Stroud now has Stein all over him. Stein, he goes back as Stroud will take the freebie there. Stein looking for the push-off. And the refs did not give him the benefit of the doubt there on that play. Niesman now. Quickly over to Stein. He's had a good start offensively. Back outside. Niesman lines up the 3-point shot. It's good! Joey Niesman, the third different McKendree player to knock down a three-pointer. He connects on his first attempt, and we got ourselves a tie ball game at 20-all. On the other end, Niesman tries to jump the passing lane, and he gets the deflection there and gets the steal. There's nothing the senior can't do on both ends of the floor.
And then he gives the guys the slow down, hit the brakes.
Stein, the three-pointer, short. He went to ground. Rebound collected there by Warden. Can't really blame McKendree for maybe getting three-point happy as far as things are concerned with how they've been shooting. Just missed there on the attempt from Stein. And we're going to get an offensive foul. An illegal screen set that time by Gibson. And it'll be his second personal. So he's got 2, Kurtzman's got 2, Warden's got 2. And that will trigger some substitutions as he will head to the bench. Vanderheit back in for Lewis. And Meeks out there with Rennie Harris to join Woods, Niesman, and Stein. 6 fouls against Lewis, 5 against McKendree. So one more would put the Bearcats in the bonus. Pick and pop time. Meeks, three-point shot. It's good. Hayden Meeks just feels like he can't miss right now. A 41% shooter from downtown as he is able to knock down his first three-point attempt.
Don't let him get hot.
And it's too late already for the team as far as things are concerned, as it's now 5 for 10 shooting from downtown for McKendree to start this game. Back outside, Stroud, he'll rise up, three-point shot, the answer from Rob Stroud.
And then he gives a little I can't hear you to the student section.
On a night like tonight seems almost impossible. There's just way too many people in here making a lot of noise. And they've been treated to a fantastic start to this game. Stein tried to put in a perfect pass, but a bouncing ball finds Woods on the outside. Then he's left open, the three-pointer. It's everyone from everywhere at the moment for the Bearcats from downtown, making another 3 points for the home side.
Well, Vez is all of a sudden loose. Defenders do a drive-by, and Vez is looking around like...
Niesman again, the turnover, quickly ahead to Stein. He's got Sales in his way. He rises up, and he finishes through contact. Timeout, Lewis. The McKendree Bearcats as a team in favor of the Bearcats. We're going to extend a little bit of pressure now to the Lewis, who are already feeling that metaphorical pressure, if you will, now down by 5. Sales now gets this one to Stroud. Great pass inside. Renfro, though, fumbled it. Otherwise, he would have had an open look down low. Back outside. Sales, the three-pointer. It's good. And the Flyers now are 3 for 8 from downtown as Sales gets into the score column with his first basket.
Well, and you mentioned Niesman with 2 steals already. Don't forget, back on November 9th, he set the NCAA era record with 7 steals in a game.
That was against Malone. But right now we're thinking about records for three-point shooting. Chavez Woods knocks down another. And he's got 3 so far in this game, as he is now 3 for 5 from downtown. Woods averages 8.4 points per game, and he's already surpassed it here tonight. The shot from Stroud rolls off the front of the rim, rebound by Niesman.
Oh, so season high for three-pointers made this year is 14 against Blackburn, and they have 7 already.
7 for 12, 58%. Is it sustainable? Who knows? But as far as what McKendree have accomplished this year, you can't put it out of the question. The short pass, Stroud able to poke it away. Now trying to go coast to coast. Great recovery by Stein to knock it out at the last second. We've hit our final media timeout of the first half as this game is flipped around for the Bearcats. They're up 5, 31-26 on Lewis. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back. Have kind of taken the league by storm as far as their first year in the conference is concerned. And then Upper Iowa on the road versus Maryville. Peacocks were up big, but only an 8-point lead about to start the second half as that's a miss in the corner by Warden. Stroud, though, collects the offensive rebound, goes up over Stein. That one rolls around the rim and out. Niesman comes away from the pack.
Okay, how does the shortest guy on the court get that rebound between 4 or 5?
I'm not sure, but he's been doing it the whole season. He averages a team-high 5 rebounds per game, but to no one's surprise, he goes coast to coast and draws the foul on the other end as the speed for Niesman once again pays dividends as he will head to the line where he is an 86.8% shooter this season. And Joey Niesman has really made himself a name for himself, while here at McKendree. Last year averaged 9.7 points per game, but he was second on the team in assists, led the team with 34 steals. Again, coming into tonight, already had 34 steals, so he's already surpassed his season high at this point in this game as he knocks down that first free throw. Mentioned he's a 52.2% shooter from the field, which is good for 7th in the conference. He's 5th in the conference in free throw percentage and tied for 3rd in steals per game. Just an all-around gamer for the Bearcats.
A little bit of breaking news. New point rating system has dropped on the women's side. McKendree and Truman are tied for the ace spot right now.
So it was a tough loss tonight for the Bearcats as they went up against the number 1 team there in the Flyers, who are starting to separate themselves from the pack. As down low, Renfro unable to score that one over Meeks. As the big man does well to put off that shot at the last second.
And Indianapolis, who beat Springfield in overtime, sits in the 10th. 0.3 of a point behind Truman and McKendree.
Niesman now trying to get past Sales. Gets all the way underneath the basket, just missed the layup. Somehow gets the offensive rebound and just misses the second attempt as it rolls out. We'll again affectionately call him a pest tonight as what he's been able to do against Lewis. And speaking of pests, that's Stroud. Once again, he gets loose inside and picks up another 2 points. He's had the most success here tonight. Now 11 points on 5 for 8 shooting.
Oh, and don't look now. Niesman's got 6 boards.
So he's already surpassed his average, and we're going to get another moving screen. This one will go against Meeks, and it will be the big man's second foul. He'll be the first one for McKendree to get into some partial foul trouble, although 1:49 left to go in this half. Not too much of a problem. And that is the 6th foul against McKendree, who are in the bonus, as Lewis have been hit with 7. And I mentioned that Lewis, one of the best teams in the nation from the free throw line. So Bearcats don't want to give them any freebies here down the stretch. As Whitaker also back in, along with Franklin, with Niesman, Woods, and Stein. Stroud, the 3-point shot. It's short. That was a tough rebound, but Franklin able to handle it. And he's got 3 already. And we're going to get a foul somewhere in the mix as far as things are concerned with the lead up to that play. And that will put McKendree at the line. It will go against Stroud. That'll only be his first, but all these fouls will help McKendree potentially pick up more points as Stein is at the line for the 1-on-1 opportunity.
Yeah, it's coming through that tunnel. Somehow Stein got clipped.
So he's at the line where he's already 2 for 2 so far tonight. And that looked strong from the jump, unfortunately. And it bounces out.
It's the first miss of the night for the Bearcats from the charity stripe.
1:15 left to go here in the half. Bearcats trying to finish strong, especially with the lead. Renfro now in unfamiliar territory outside as he tries to dump this one off to Vanderheit, who tripped up and apparently was enough to draw the whistle. And that will allow Lewis to get to the free throw line via the bonus. As it looks as though that will go against, I think it was against Whitaker, and that will be his second. So Whitaker's got 2 and Meeks has got 2.
And Coach Suggs, this is now the second official he's got the ear of about this call.
So Vanderheit now at the line. Last year averaged 7.6 points per game and 4.6 rebounds. Able to get the first free throw to go. He had a career high of 27 points earlier this season where he went 6 for 9 from 3 versus Wayne State, Michigan. Also had 24 points and 12 rebounds in a win versus Upper Iowa, one-time GLVC Player of the Week out of Washington, Illinois. Knocks down both free throws there. So we're back to within a one-possession game. Bearcats, if they can play it straight, might be able to get a couple possessions here to close things out in the first half. Stein now able to avoid the travel. Niesman, he'll fire the three-pointer off to the left. Rebound collected that time by Renfro. Big man now up to 3 rebounds so far tonight. And Sales, as he was trying to go all the way, dribbles that one off his foot at the last second. And there will be a 9-second difference between the shot clock and the game clock as we're going to get a timeout here so that the Bearcats can set up this final offensive possession of the half. after it looked like that wasn't going to be the case early on in this game. Stein now, baseline drive, cut off that time by Gibson. Franklin trying to hold on to the ball. He's able to do so. Back out to Niesman. Niesman now, sizing up Renfro, but he has to go back out. Woods, how about another three? That one's short. Rebound Mateski, and then he loses possession, but that's because he was held on the arm, and he's headed to the line for a one-on-one opportunity. As that foul will go against Sales, and that'll be his second. So you've got 4 different Lewis players with 2 fouls, 2 different ones for McKendree. As Luka Mateski, redshirt sophomore from Belgrade, Serbia, averaging 7.1 points per game and nearly 4 rebounds per game, will head to the line for the first time here tonight. And he misses the front end. Shot clock is off. Approaching 10 seconds here. It'll be Stroud who will look for this final shot for the Flyers. Mateski in a one-on-one opportunity here defensively. Stroud trying to go all the way to the hoop, and he gets the roll off the back iron, and we're going to have ourselves a 1-point halftime lead for McKendree. And yet, despite all of that, it's a 1-point game as we restart things here in the second half. Starters back out on the floor as it's Stein now with an immediate drive inside. Rises up through contact, and he draws the foul off the shot fake. Smart play there by Stein, who has been at the free throw line a couple times already in this one. That will go against Salis, and it will be his third foul. And speaking of that game versus Lincoln, that was when Kevin Stein established a new career high of 32 points, basically willed McKendree at times back into contention in that game. He went 7 for 10 from the line in that one, 11 for 23 from the field. Had a double-double, 17 and 10 earlier this season versus William Jewell. Mentioned the team high in assists and second in steals. But he's also made his bones at the charity stripe this season as he's able to knock down both those free throws. Bearcats again are going to showcase a little bit of full court pressure. And Salis now is going to line up a three-point shot as he was left open. Maybe that's why. He's off to the right. And Stein gets his hands on the rebound. Stein now, again, off the shot fake. Gets to the block. Able to almost get that one to go. Somehow enough English on it to stay out. Stroud now, ahead of the pack, rises up. Tough finish. There were a lot of hands trying to put off his attempt, but he gets it to go. So Stroud now up to 15 points to lead all scorers. Niesman now pitches it over to Woods. He had the hot hand from three-point range in the first half. Now down low for Mateski. Tries to spin on Vanderheit and then is able to slip in the reverse layup at the last second.
I called him my X factor leading up to this broadcast, and I think it's only a matter of time what's going to happen in the second half with him.
It was a late start to the season, but once he got involved, this McKendree team took on a new identity. Stroud, the three-point shot, short. Nice rebound there, though, by Renfro as he snuck in late. Will give Lewis another possession. Now Warden, and that was a pretty obvious whack on the arm there by Woods, who is going to get hit for his second personal. Just wanted to add on Mateski. It was that 14-13 game versus Southwest Baptist that truly, opened eyes as far as his potential, and then, followed that up a few games later with that career high of 18 points. He went 8 for 11 from the free throw line. That overtime win at Maryville. You want to talk about starting that road trip on an amazing foot there, as the Bearcats were able to escape the Saints' barn with that win.
Well, that was it was even overtime thanks to Joey Niesman right on cue.
And what a recovery there by Stroud as he picks up the block. Not many are known to have chased down Niesman in the open floor, but he somehow is able to do so. Vanderheit now, and that's going to be a block there by Stein as the Bearcats feel as though he beat Warden to the spot. But it will go against Stein, and that will be his first foul. So always tough ones to call as far as letter of the law versus the spirit of the play. And that time, though, we're going to say Stein was a little bit late getting into the position. But only his first foul. Renfro now. Vanderheit Rises up with Franklin in his face. Too strong. Rebound again by Niesman. Make it 8 here tonight. You start maybe to talk about double-double territory with Niesman, especially if you can put in this basket right on cue. Make it 7 and 8 so far here tonight for the senior.
Oh, and not to mention 2 assists, 2 steals.
I don't think you could stuff the stat sheet anymore if you could try. Maybe get some blocks. I don't know. The night is young. Vanderheit now. Franklin does beat him to the spot to cut off that drive. Stroud now. Tries to go over Mateski. That was a wild attempt there, and Franklin first to the rebound for McKendree. Almost looked like Stroud kind of got lost as to where he was at.
Couple spin cycles and
made himself dizzy. Niesman feeling it. Just rolls off the front of the rim. Would have brought him to that 10-point barrier. Gibson now goes all the way, and we're going the other way with the charge drawn that time by Franklin. Gibson is in disbelief, but certainly seemed like Franklin was waiting whoever in the lane there to draw that charge.
Well, when I'm looking at Renfro, I couldn't tell if he was talking to his teammates or if he was talking to the official.
They're actually going to get Stroud there for that charge, my pardon. So that'll be the second foul against Stroud.
And Coach Trost is like, what? How's that? Waving his arms. And
Stein now off the spin, lost the handle. And as you mentioned, quick the difference as far as coaching matchup tonight with Coach Scott Trost in his 19th season in charge of the Flyers, the all-time winningest coach in program history. And then you've got George Suggs on the other side, his 4th season in charge of the Bearcats. And that's going to be a foul on the attempt as Stroud is headed back to the line. But again, both these gentlemen have found a way to lead their programs to a GLVC tournament championship and deep playoff runs. Of course, you look at the totality of Trost's career, 6 NCAA tournament berths, 2 GLVC titles out of 5 championship game appearances. He has really helped establish the Flyers as a perennial contender here in this conference. And Stroud again at the line, knocks down the first free throw. He's got a game-high 16 points on 7 for 13 shooting. He still has a ways to go for his career high, though. That was established earlier this year. 33 points. He went 6 for 10 from three-point range against all teams, the nationally ranked minors of Missouri S&T. So very quite impressive to put up that type of a number against that caliber of a team as he goes 2 for 2 from the line. He's an 86% shooter from the line, and that is good for 4th in the GLVC. Spearheading, again, a team that is one of the best at the line over the course of this season. Stein now. Niesman trying to dribble out of the corner, and he draws another foul against Stroud, and that will be his 3rd. So decision time for Coach Trost and Lewis what to do with their top scorer, who's now up to 3 fouls with 13 still left to go in this game. And right now, Coach is going to trust the player here to not pick up the 4th. Woods now, another 3-pointer. That one off to the left. Franklin battling inside, but lost out on the rebound. Warden now will slow things down to get everybody else in the play for the Flyers. He'll try to get inside. Against Franklin, he will draw the foul at the last second. As Franklin kind of swiped down. And always tough to kind of disguise things, even if you get the ball in those scenarios. And for Franklin, that is going to be his 2nd foul. We've hit our media time. Warden now at the line for Lewis. Still just a 1-possession game, as he is able to knock down the free throw and get himself up to 4 points here on the night.
Well, and at the end of every men's shoot-around, the team does a little 3-point challenge to where, say, because Coach Suggs always starts at the top of the key. So say Coach Suggs makes it, and then say you're next and you miss, you're out and you have to rebound until, let's just say Coach Suggs doesn't get out in the first couple rounds very often.
It kind of reminds me of things as McKendree now with this possession. Stein pitching this one over to Woods, trying to take on Stroud, has to get back outside. 3-point shot, Whitaker, that one in and out. And rebound collected by Renfro. There's a video going around, speaking of former players, and somebody I remember watching as a kid, John Shire of Duke, was shooting around. I don't know if it was a shoot around or practice. They kept asking the guys on the sideline, hey, do you trust me? And he'd shoot a three-pointer, swish. Hey, do you trust me? Swish. You still trust me? Swish. And those guys just never lose it. Shot clock down to 10. And speaking of never losing it, that's Rob Stroud now at the moment, as he's got 19 points. I mentioned he's got a long way for his career high, but the way he's shooting, he's got an outside chance here with 15 minutes left to go. As McKendree have not really had much of an answer for him so far. Then again, not everybody in the GLVC really has. Meeks now. Gets this one to Stein. Shot clock's at 10. Stein trying to blow past Renfro. Finds Whitaker. Corner three. Yes, sir! I started early because it's almost automatic at that point for Whitaker, as he is still the top shooter from downtown in the conference. And he knocks down another from the corner. Again, first in three-point percentage in the GLVC.
Well, and I'll be honest, I didn't even see Whitaker over there due to the student section.
I'll be honest, too, I didn't see him until he rose up, but as soon as I realized he was open, it seemed elementary at that point. Shot clock down to 10. Stroud trying to take over, utilizes the backboard for an absurd angle. And Rob Stroud, first player to breach 20 points here tonight, up to 21. We talked a lot about, players improving from year to year. Rob Stroud has certainly taken over for the Flyers this season. Niesman now with the floater, also utilizing the backboard. I'm sure there's some purists out there who are loving life here over these last few possessions. Utilizing the backboard, not a lost art here in today's game. Gibson this time bullying Niesman, who's asking for a push-off, but instead he's going to get hit with what is his second personal of the game. And he is now the fifth McKendree player with 2 fouls. And there are 5 players on Lewis who have at least 2 fouls. As Jalen Gibson, averaging 9.5 points per game this season and 3 rebounds per game, knocks down the first free throw as he's an 83% shooter from the line. He has had back-to-back games in double figures after he went 5 games without. So he'll be looking to kind of get things going here, as that is just his first point of the ball game, although he is tied for the team lead with 5 rebounds, so can't say that he hasn't been chipping in off the bench here, as a starter tonight. One-point game between McKendree and Lewis. Rennie Harris back into the game for the Bearcats. Stein now gets the switch to Renfro. Gets past him. Renfro trying to recover. Did just enough to put off that shot.
So that last time out they reviewed, the charge was on number 3, Gibson, not Stroud.
I was going to say, I think I had that from the jump. I was a little bit confused as to why they called that one on Stroud. It's a good catch by you and good catch by the officials. So Stroud actually has 2 fouls and Gibson's got 3. And speaking of fouls, they're going to get Harris, I do believe, for his first. And it will put Vanderheit back at the line where he is 2 for 2 so far here today. And Vanderheit, one of those 5 Lewis players averaging double figures as he knocks down that free throw. And has helped Lewis to this point where they're 6-4 on the road coming to this one, 8-5 in games decided by less than 10 points. But mention the struggles, especially at home, losing 3 straight at home. The caliber of the team that Lewis is, it's very surprising. They've lost 4 of their last 5. And as Vanderheit, though, knocks down that shot to give Lewis the lead. They've kind of rounded back into form just a little bit, especially in certain areas here tonight.
That's their first lead since they led 20-17 with 7 minutes to go in the first half.
Bearcats going to try to change that here immediately. They'll get the ball down low to Meeks. Likes the matchup now, faces a double team, barely able to get that back out to Stein. Shot clock approaching 10. Rises up over Stroud, that one off the back iron. King, though, back in the game, gets the rebound. Whitaker off the shot fake, the 3, off to the left, rebound Renfro.
I maybe would have liked to see Whitaker drive that one.
I don't think he realized that there was a recovery on the backside. That one's thrown to the back court. It's saved, but into the hands of Stein. Ahead to Harris, rises up, gets the layup to go, as Stroud was coming in at the last second to try to swipe that one away. Bit of an awkward situation. Seemed like it was going to be a clear over the back, but McKendree happy to get the ball in open play and break out for a layup.
Well, and props on the ref to just let that play out since McKendree ended up with possession.
Renfro now. He's pushed out by Meeks. He'll try to set a screen, though, for Warden. Warden over King. Left it short. Sticks with the play. It does just enough to shove that shot off the backboard and in. Back and forth we go. Trading buckets, these teams. A 1-point lead once again for the Flyers. Approaching our next media timeout. Backdoor cut. King. Great corner pass. The three. Whitaker off the back side of the rim there. Just a little bit too strong. Stroud now. Going to settle in on the low block. Scoops that one to a cutting Warden who draws the foul on Harris. That'll be his second. It sure seemed like things were lining up for Stroud to take that one to the hole, but he does well to pass out of it and get that one to Warden, who's headed to the line. 11:42 left to go. 47-46 your score. Lewis over McKendree. Great action here inside the Harry M. Stapleton Sports Center. We will be right back.
Tight game. Be interested to see how this one plays out down the stretch.
Warden is 2 for 4 from the line and gets a very generous roll there to knock down his third free throw.
Speaking of coming down the stretch, Muscle, we're also got our eye on down in Rolla. S&T leads by 1 in a back-and-forth affair with 9 minutes to go.
I was going to say, Upper Iowa knocking off S&T at home, minor upset. William Jewell knocking off S&T on the road in a different stratosphere.
A little bit bigger upset.
Yeah. Would be a huge program-defining win there for the Cardinals should they get themselves back in that game. 9:11 left to go in that one. 11:32 here as Niesman off the pick and roll. Attacking Kerseman, who's back into the game, as he joins Gibson, Vanderheit, Stroud, and I think that's Vanderheit over there. Meeks now. Shot clock's down to 5. Going to have to get going here. Meeks now is going to have to try to go over Kerseman. The fadeaway shot gets the front of the rim. Harris somehow beats, I think, 3 different Lewis players to the offensive rebound.
He got a fresh 20 to reset.
Niesman now goes quickly. Tough scoop layup. Harris did his best to get another offensive rebound, but couldn't. Now here comes Lewis. On the trail, Warden. Bearcats initially able to recover, and then we're going to get a travel call, I believe, against Stroud prior to that pass inside to Kerseman. Stein will check back in for King. He'll join Whitaker, Harris, Niesman, and Meeks. Mentioned the bench discrepancy as far as during this road streak is concerned. Here tonight, it's a 12-6 advantage for McKendree. Meeks now trying to add to that total. The 3, short. You got to say the Bearcats have gone just a little bit cold from downtown over the last few possessions. Warden now. Baseline drive. Harris trying to stick with them. Tough reverse layup. Not enough contact there for a foul. It's a 5v4 advantage. Just Warden still slipping on the floor. Stein, the corner. Whitaker, three-pointer. Also short. And then we're going to get a foul on the floor. I think it will go against Stroud, and that will be his third foul. And you got to love those players sometimes that they don't show up in the box scores as far as scoring or other statistics are concerned, but that play there by the freshman, Rennie Harris, able to draw what is the third foul against Stroud. Just a real big play there by the freshman to battle inside and draw that foul. Now can McKendree turn it into points? Stein now, cut off by Warden on the drive. Shot clock down to 10 as Meeks now. He'll go 3-point shot. That one is good. Hey, Meeks with a goofy look over to the bench. Confident as ever. Why wouldn't he be? As he knocks down that 3-point shot, that's his second of the game.
Hey, know your role, and he knows his role.
That was a beautiful off-the-dribble 3 that time from Meeks. The response there, partially that time by Gibson to get 2 of those 3 back. Basically, call this one a seesaw affair between these two teams. There's not been a lot of separation, and there's been a lot of shot making. And now the Flyers back into a little bit of a zone look here. An extended 2-3. Bearcats now sensing it as the shot clock down to 9. Into the corner, Mateski, the three-pointer. Yes, sir! The X factor here tonight, as my partner called him, Metesky with a big-time shot to get McKendree back out in front.
He's got 7.
Every point's going to matter here down the stretch for both these teams. Doesn't matter where they come from. Vanderheit, the answer, gets the shooter's roll there as he knocks down his second three-pointer of the evening.
Very generous roll for the road team.
Niesman now. Meeks, another step back. Three-pointer. That one off to the left.
And you got teammates going after the same rebound.
Yeah, the student section basically ready to jump out of their shoes pretty much on every three-point attempt at this point in the game. Gibson now. Tough drive. Even tougher finish as he's almost tabletop there by his own teammate there in Stroud, but somehow was able to finish. It's hard enough when your opponent is trying to stop your shot, but when your own teammate does too, somehow still able to get it to go. Niesman off the spin, back out to Woods. Stein now. Drives into the lane, lost the handle the last second, somehow forces it out to Metesky. He goes to ground, and we'll get a foul called. And that will be the 5th foul against Lewis here, and it will go against Rob Stroud. That's going to be his 4th. That is a huge call there to go against the top scorer in this game. Niesman, the one inbounding the ball after the latest foul. Gets it to Stein. Stein likes the matchup against Wharton. Was able to put up a shot, but saw the late contest there from Kerseman and unable to get it up over the big man. And the Flyers are able to pick up the stop.
Be curious how this game goes for how long Stroud sits on the bench.
Renfro now. He's been quiet in his return to the lineup here tonight. Back outside. Not quite, though, as Woods out of nowhere able to stretch out an arm and scoop that one out of the air.
He's like, oh, look what I found.
Kind of going for like a one-handed catch if you were in the NFL or something like that. Beautifully done by Woods. Meeks now against Kerseman. Trying to back down the big man. Gets to his spot. Prior to the shot, we're going to get a foul on the floor, and it will be the 3rd against Kerseman. So the fouls are starting to pile up just a bit for the Flyers, as there are now at least 4 players with at least 3 fouls in this game. Meeks now is going to try to hang a 4th maybe on Kerseman. He takes him all the way to the basket. Late help, and we're going to get a foul on somebody. Will it be Kerseman's 4th, or will it go against Renfro? And it's going to be Renfro this time. And for the big man, that is his only first personal of the game. But that will send the senior from Australia, Hayden Meeks, to the line. And again, talked about his career high last week of 20 points. Max, you were at that game personally. I mean, what was it like to see, a player that, started off the year obviously having to deal with maybe some injuries, got a late start, had a couple good games, another kind of a stop-start part of the season, but to come alive there for a career high 20 points had to be cool.
It's one of those, he's found his niche this year and developed into the role, and, it was his night.
Averaged 6.6 last year, 10.4 coming into tonight this season.
Broadcasters always talk about role player. I mean, he's the definition of a role player right now.
And here is now his role is to stop Kerseman from getting to the basket. Pass inside. Woods tried to swipe at the pass as Vanderheit was the one who was cutting to the basket. And I do believe they're going to get Chavez Woods for the foul. And that'll be his 3rd foul.
Final from Chesterfield. Upper Iowa 82, Maryville 73.
Again, win for the Peacocks to keep them near the top of the standings. They got a big matchup versus Umsel on Saturday. The Tritons went into Fayette. No easy task, and beat the Peacocks in the first matchup this season. So something to keep an eye on during the Saturday slate of GLVC action other than McKendree versus UIndy. Well, for you Flyers fans, Lewis versus Maryville.
S&T's currently on a 6-0 run, has opened up a 9-point lead on the Cardinals with 5.5 to go.
As far as the action here is concerned, Niesman can't shake Salas. Now, Stein trying to do the exact same thing. Gets in the line, stops on a dime, but just didn't put enough oomph behind the floater as it hits the front of the rim and out. Niesman able to cut off that drive by Salas. Now a major skip pass, heads up in the stands. Surely those fans didn't expect to be part of the action tonight. And it will end up being a turnover on the part of the Flyers. And I don't know about you, Max, but it just seems like every time either team gets a stop, they're not able to come up with the basket on the other side. And we've been mired in this one-possession game of sorts for a very long time. We're now under 6 minutes left to go.
Yeah, it's kind of
Meeks,
has this weird feeling of
unable to change it with the three-pointer. How about King there? Showing off the bunnies to get to that rebound.
And boy, does he have some bunnies.
Niesman inside, and that one is swatted out of bounds. I think that's Vanderheit who got the block. Or was there a foul call? There is a foul call. I didn't hear the whistle at all. Of course, it was extremely loud off of the block, but it's going to go against Vanderheit, and that will be his first foul. And it will put Niesman at the line, where he is 2 for 2 so far tonight.
Well,
and go ahead.
Subplot to this. So Niesman was obviously fouled on the ground looking for a hand from his teammates he could help get up. Kirchman grabs him by one hand and pulls him up.
Niesman knocks down the free throw, and now I can say, we mentioned it a little bit early on, that's a double-double for Niesman. 10 points and 10 rebounds tonight. And I do believe that is his first double-double of the season. Had a big game last week, 19 points, went 4 for 5 from three-point range versus Illinois Springfield. And here tonight now, 11 points, 10 rebounds, and a couple steals to his name. And he's the second Bearcat player in double figures behind Stein's 12. Tied at 55 all. What a matchup, what a game here between these two teams once again. King trying to blitz Vanderheit, who dumps this one inside to Kerseman. Going to go maybe with the left hand. No, it's the right. Kerseman with a flurry of post moves. Meeks tips the rebound into the hands of King.
Yes, Josh, to your point. First double-double of the season for Niesman.
Trying to avoid the turnover, and Vanderheit just barely gets a final touch to that ball. And now pivotal point in this game. Rob Stroud back in for Kerseman, playing with 4 fouls.
It's actually Niesman's first double-double as a Bearcat in 2 years.
Okay, there you go. No time like the present in this game to pick that up. Mentioned he was the lead rebounder. Makes another three-pointer, short. Rebound. It was loose there for a moment. Vanderheit, though, in a flash, gets to it for Lewis.
Say they're all backing up to get on defense, and the ball's bouncing to the three-point line.
Always got to know about those long rebounds off three-point attempts. Vanderheit now with King on him. Renfro bounces this one inside. Had to be an inch-perfect pass, and it results in an and one by Vanderheit. There's been some great post passes made here by both teams tonight, but that one might be the prettiest as Renfro gets this one to Vanderheit, who's at the line for one more. He's got 14 points tonight on 4 for 10 shooting. He's looking to go 5 for 6 from the line, and he's able to do so. Niesman and Stein, the only players in double figures. Woods has those 3 threes, though. All 3 of them are out there right now, along with Meeks and King. Stein now. Warden able to cut him off for the moment. Now, trying to go up and under. Gets some spin the wrong way. Missed the shot, but kept with the play. And is able to put in the second attempt. That's great savvy there from Stein. Did not panic off of the miss. Was first to the ball. And he was able to get it off the second chance points. Make it 14 now for Stein. And we're going to get a foul by Meeks, I do believe, on the low block. Trying to guard Renfro. And that will be the third against Meeks. And again, both teams well within the bonus. I do believe it's going to be the double bonus now for Lewis, as we've hit an even 4 minutes. Our final media timeout. You're not going to miss the end of this. Renfro, despite how good the team is a 65% shooter from the line, but makes it look easy there on the first attempt.
Well, in a little non-conference action as I'm scrolling my Twitter timeline, Delta State goes into Valdosta State, the number 6 team in the country, knocks them off 96-92. So some solid action in the Gulf South Conference.
I was going to say, it's just starting March is around the corner. It's starting to get to that point of the year. Anything can happen for any team. McKendree are hoping that is the case here, down by 2.
Remember, 2 years ago, they were the 8th seed in the Midwest region and made it to the region final.
Meeks just a hair short there with Renfro in coverage of the post. Neither team can pull away. Warden now getting a screen from Renfro. Vanderheit, he's been very active, especially with Stroud in foul trouble. And we're going to get a foul called, and I believe it's going to go against King, who was probably looking for an offensive there. But every one of these fouls, of course, hurts when you know it's going to be the double bonus, and you're putting Vanderheit at the line once again, who's 5 for 6 so far in this game.
In all honesty, I thought that was a push-off.
Maybe a no call?
A no call at worst.
Coach Suggs certainly felt that way. Got to be careful here in this instance. Obviously frustrated with the call, but don't want to compound the free throws with more. And I'm just watching things right now. The referee has gone back, I think, at least 3 times to Coach Suggs.
He just gave him the hand to stop.
As Vanderheit knocks down both free throws. 4-point lead feels like a lot in this game, but it's just 2 possessions with still 3 minutes left to go. Niesman now gets inside, layup and 1! Joey Niesman has a motor that just keeps on running as he gets all the way to the cup, finishes through contact, and it will go against Paxton Warden. That'll be his 3rd foul, but more importantly, Niesman, who is 4 for 4 from the line tonight, heads there for 1 more to get this back to a 1-point game.
Josh, don't look now, but William Jewell is back within 2 with 1:18 to go.
I was going to say, I feel like I'm in my house. I'm watching multiple screens, multiple games, trying to keep track of everything going on. It's that time of the year in this sport.
What do you think I did last Saturday when we had off? Didn't have a basketball game.
Oh. Dream scenario.
I watched the whole Quincy Jury women's double overtime.
Warden now cut off on the drive. Stroud back in. Under 3 minutes left to go. Whitaker now trying to stop Warden's drive. With him for the moment. Warden rises up. Tough shot. Too strong. Rebound tipped in the hands of Niesman. If he gets credited with it, it'll be his 12th rebound. Niesman now gets it back from Meeks. Niesman has had so many great moments in late stages of the game this season. Might be shaping up for one more. Meeks now, shot clock at 10. Rises up the hook shot. It's good! McKendree back out in front by 1. Meeks now up to 9 points in this game. Timeout, Lewis. As the Bearcats sit here, but
I'm not either. We are not speaking that into existence.
Just been a really good basketball game that deserves an outright winner in regulation. With 2 minutes left to go. Flyers out of the timeout, get it to Vanderheit. Whitaker, the one who's going to try to mark him, now into the post. Renfro trying to go right through Meeks. Over the top, it's a miss. Ball is loose, so tap back out to Lewis. Stroud now, the spin move inside, gets it to go. Little bit of a mismatch there. 6'5" versus 6'2". Stroud able to overpower and go over Niesman for the basket. Lewis back up out top with about 90 seconds left to go. Stein now gets the switch, fakes this one inside. Meeks now goes up over the top. The hook shot too strong. Rebound collected by Stroud, making his 5th. Flyers are going to try to take some time off the clock. Stroud now. He's been the catalyst, as he has been over the course of the entire season. Now he's going to drive. Gets the low block on Stein. Stein with them step for step, but it's going to be another tough finish by Stroud. Give him 25 on 11 for 17 shooting. But still a 1-possession game. Bearcats have been comfortable shooting from 3 tonight. They don't need it now. And we're going to get a timeout by Coach Suggs and the Bearcats before Niesman could really get things started there. But
I mean, McKendree has 5 shooters on the team, 5 shooters on the floor.
Next foul committed by the Flyers will put McKendree at the line for the double bonus. Did that just happen? I believe that just did. That's a mistake there by Vanderheit, fouling with the clock not moving, and it will put McKendree at the line for 2 free throws. Whitaker so far this season, you want to talk about free throw shooting, he's a near 94% shooter from the line. What a big spot for him here. And he misses it short. Said 94%, but it's not on as many attempts as you would think. But still, he's been prolific from this spot. And he misses both. Still a 1-possession game, but now if you're McKendree, you have to get the stop.
About a 16-second difference between shot and game clock.
And then you might be having to look at a 3-pointer on the backside of things now. Renfro. A lot of dribbling here. You feel as though Stroud's going to come to get it, and he does. Shot clock's at 8. Off the screen. Stroud now trying to back down Stein. He gets stuck on the block. Rises up for the shot, and he's going to get the shooter's roll. Rob Stroud once again. And right now he's got Lewis on the doorstep of taking this game, but still a chance here. If McKendree can score quickly, it's Niesman. Baseline drive, spin move, off the glass, gets it to go. 10.4 on the clock, timeout by McKendree.
And I believe that's
in the same rough margin of this game. It was almost a 5-second call, but in the end they do get the ball inbounds, and it's going to be Salas who's going to be at the line, and I do believe this will be his first free throw attempts tonight. On the season, he is an 82% free throw shooter. Really, obviously, as we said, they're one of the best shooting teams in the nation. It's going to be hard to specifically pick one person to foul, but your best guess here is to get a guy who has not shot any free throws tonight. But he's got the luxury of really only needing maybe one. Crowd comes alive to try to put him off his rhythm. Nothing but net.
As Renfro checks in for Vanderheit.
Will do his due diligence defensively, regardless of this free throw coming up, but the all-important 2-possession lead restored by Salas. A senior in his own right. He's been down this road plenty of times. And that is some real savvy from an upperclassman to knock down those free throws. 5-point lead once again. Niesman has to hurry. Probably needs 3. Meeks now off the pick and pop. Rises up the 3-pointer. No good. Rebound Stroud. And that is going to do it as the Flyers find a way at the end to come away with the victory here.